Hey there, it's Pete over at Sampleist, and today we are checking out Action Woodwinds from Native Instruments. Native Instruments have once again teamed up with Sonuscore to create the third instrument in the Action series. First of all, we had Action Strikes, then Action Strings, and now we have Action Woodwinds. Action Woodwinds is all about getting that huge cinematic kinetic woodwind sound straight into your DAW, and it really is a massive time saver. To create really complex and intricate arrangements and melodies and runs takes minutes, not hours. Action Woodwinds downloads at 22.06 gigabytes and it runs in the free Contact Player version 7.8.1. If you have an NKS compatible controller, it is also NKS compatible, so it runs in complete control and you get all of the functionality, the light guides, the different controls from your controller. It's currently on intro sale for $179, but that will go up after March the 1st. In this video, we are going to check out Action Woodwinds, see what it's all about, what does it sound like, and then I've thrown it into a composition scenario. I'd like to take the opportunity to thank Native Instruments and Sonuscore for sending over a copy of Action Woodwinds so we can make this video. While we do get the libraries for free, it doesn't influence our thoughts, our ideas, or anything to do with our judgment. It's purely a working composer working with the library for as many hours as I possibly could and then giving you my thoughts. So without further ado, let's check out Action Woodwinds. And here we have Action Woodwinds loaded up in the Native Instruments Complete Control player. We have some woodwinds. They sound amazing. The sampling is absolutely fantastic. And at the moment, I'm just playing some octaves and I'm moving the mod wheel. And of course, the mod wheel increases the volume. We've got the dynamic mod at the top. So that controls CC1. The instrument is really quite complex. Now, there is a fantastic video from Native Instruments, which is on YouTube and obviously their website. Please do check it out because it will go through absolutely every aspect of this instrument. But I'm just going to show off what is different and, of course, some controls that I feel make this an absolutely wonderful instrument. I've gone for a one-window view because you load up a single NKI file and then you have everything accessible from the browser in the middle. And you can click your different parameters, so your category, ensemble, the feel, and the meter, and you get the themes that appear. Now, there are 167 possible instruments you can load, and with each of those, you have a main version. You've got 3 variations and different articulations. So we've got staccatissimo, staccato, marcato, sus, trill, half tone, and whole tone. Of course, on the mod wheel, you can control the dynamics of that. So far, so good. Love it. Now, we're in the first arpeggio called Celestial. And the feature that really grabs me with this library, and I'm going to use it to showcase the different sounds in the library, is the scaler. Previously, so if you've used Action Strings 2, for example, it's got some amazing performances and different motifs, but you have to do some level of adjustment to make sure everything stays in key. That's only if you're playing melodic phrases. If you're doing rhythms, no, you don't need to do that. But now, you can decide which key you're going to play in. So let's say we're in, let's go for my favourite, D minor. On my NKS keyboard, only the notes of D minor are lit up. And no matter what I hold down, only the notes of D minor are being played. So if I play... Okay, so we had D minor, B flat, C, G minor there. it's absolutely fantastic, and you're not limited just to major and minor. You've got all of these different modes and different scales as well if you choose to use them. Absolutely wonderful. And then of course, if you want everything to be on, if I use F sharp minor, so we've got a lot more sharps, but I want it not to be on the black keys, everything's on the white keys. You just click in C and everything will just be played on the C. So the C scale, the white keys. Which again makes life really, really easy because there are playable runs or playable fragments in this library and playable performances. So nice and straightforward. Personally, I prefer just to set my key and play it that way. And the reason is I don't have to export the MIDI or alter using the editor. It just does it for you. And I think that's fantastic. So let's listen to some sounds first. I'm going to start off in the arpeggio section. So let's just play chordal. Now, there is previews. So if I just click on it once, there are previews there. And I don't believe these are the native instruments previews, which I normally have turned off. Do it skews my view there? Just going to check that. No. I'm just seeing if there's a way. There we go. Let's turn that off, probably. It's one of those things you think about when you start recording a review, but you don't think about beforehand. I don't seem to be able to turn it off. So what I'm going to do is we have chordal, and then I'm actually just going to zip through them using the toggle keys. So chordal. I'm going to change the key though. Let's just play an E minor for this one. Lovely. So you can hear the low ensemble change note there because I was playing with the left hand. Let's go to the next one. So shallow water. So again, we're in E minor at the moment. Okay, so we get the idea. Let's just go for another one. 6/8. So there's lots of different meters in here as well. So we go to C major. So we're in 6/8, gathering clouds. Okay, sounds absolutely lovely. Now, of course, you can adjust the volume of the high ensemble or the low ensemble. You can take them out completely by muting them. But let's have a quick listen to some variations. So this is variation 1. Lovely. And then we've got the staccatissimo, staccato, marcato, sustain, and trills. Okay, so again, I did show those earlier, but it's worth just revisiting them. Now, you can just have low. Oops, sorry. Low. Or just high if you want to as well. And of course, I just instantly played an E minor, forgetting that I've set it to C major, so that F sharp hasn't got any sound whatsoever. Lovely. Let's just go through a couple more. So we've got comping 1. and I'm just going to jump in now. So let's just go down a little bit further so we can see different things. Think, you know, Secret Mission. Love this. I've only got the high ensemble on. Lovely. And I've only got the low one on. There we go. Okay, so it's following the chords that I'm playing in C major. Lovely. So that's the arpeggios, and you can see you have different categories. Nice and straightforward. So let's just go up to basic. I'm going to play basic figures unison A. Okay, so these are just straightforward basic rhythms. And of course, this tempo syncs to your DAW. Let's just play some heavy rhythms. Let's change the key. Let's go to F. Lovely. So I should have waited for the phrase to change before I change rhythm. Let's do another heavy rhythm, 7/8. Lovely stuff. Oops. And then just some basic rhythms. Change key again. Which I know I'm going to the same key, F major to D minor, where okay, so you can key switch through different articulations down the bottom there. Let's do one more, some triplets. Great stuff. Okay, so that's some basic. Then we've got these melodics. Now the melodics just make it, these add like the colour and the interest, I suppose, like more interest. Okay, and of course, go through. So different variations as well. Absolutely brilliant. Let's do one more, Stormtroopers. I'll change key again. Lots of key changes. Some nice harmony and fifths there, but you can see it follows the key, and that is absolutely wonderful. So getting away from the sort of named ones, you can see we've got melodic hooks. So let's just grab 3/4 one this time. Beautiful. And towards the top, yeah, we've got diatonic playables. So you can see these are little fragments. Let's go to B. So again, really, really cool for making like really, really quick runs. Love it. Okay, you got these split into high and low as well. They got playable four, sorry. Runs. Not entirely sure what's going on there. Ah, yes, it's because we're in G major. No, don't know what's happening. Doesn't want to do a run on C. Don't know why. It's the 4th. Not 100% what's going on there, but anyway, let's move on. So, diatonic figures. Absolutely beautiful. And then we've got chromatic as well. So it's place for our trills. So these are playable. Low trills. Oops. I'm trying to trigger it like a... There we go. It's because I had it locked on, which is what's happening before as well. Because it's chromatic. Yeah. See, it just pays to click around a little bit, doesn't it? I also use these in the demo, the composition that I've already created. I always create the composition first because that is the best way to learn a library. Yeah, there's a 1-3-5 harmony going on there. Beautiful. I had to leave it in there, but yeah. These sound amazing. third apart. It's getting that harmony. Love it. So you can see there's plenty for everyone. There we go. So we've got the basic, so just sort of establishing movement. You got the melodic, so we've got the melodic fragments you can play and melodic little motifs. Chromatic, again, really quite difficult to consciously put chromaticism into your composition. So just trying these out is really, really good fun, playing around with those. And then we've got the arpeggios, which very inspirational and give you different ideas. So when you combine everything, you get some very, very cool ideas. Then of course you've got the user settings. Now I've actually not saved anything. There you go, that's what I was looking for. So I'm just gonna go to arpeggio and I'm gonna choose a random arpeggio. Clockwork. There we go. Now, there is a tendency to see comments saying, oh, we're all going to sound the same if we use these libraries because everyone sounds the same and using the same material. Now, no, not really. And you can obviously sometimes hear something and pick it out, you know, from a library. However, you can edit everything. So if you click on the editor, we can actually see we have the notes and velocities, etc. So first thing is you can add an instant octave, which I really, really like, and you can adjust different parameters. Oops. And the notes. I don't know what's dragging up there. Also, I've played around with this already, and it was a few days ago, to be fair. So if I play this, it's going to sound a little bit odd. It's going to sound a bit different. Okay, and you could just play around with all these different settings and ideas and create your own your own phrases, and you can save them. So you can take the over 1,000 different starting points we have and customize it to your heart's content, and that's really, really useful. And you could do the same for the high and the low. And there we go, absolutely brilliant. So I am going to urge you to watch the video that Native Instruments have made, because it does show everything in this library, but there is so much you can do. So we've got the editor, we've got the mixer as well, so you can adjust the mix settings. So you've got mix, the main mix, we've got close, spot, tree and far, change of volume, got an EQ if you want to use it, different reverbs, sends and outputs. Very, very cool stuff. So yeah, does that cover everything? Well, there's two little things up here as well. One of them is MIDI drop. So just play the phrase and then you can drop it into other instruments. That is really, really useful. And it is worth saying that Action Woodwinds and Action Strings 2 do share some of the same phrases to make it an interlocking pair of libraries. And of course, if you use Action Strikes as well, you've got percussion, woods and strings sorted out. And hopefully there'll be a brass library on its way. But you can MIDI drop everything, which is fantastic, and you have these different settings as well. So yeah, we've got CC1 on the mod wheel, and you can change that if you need to. We have the note release, you can adjust that, and then you can play everything in half time or double time as well. I shouldn't use that phrase that I made as an example. Let's go back to Clockwork. Okay, so got those different controls. And really, that is everything that Action Woodwinds is all about. You got all of these different presets and different articulations. You have the editor, so you can create your own and mix the or adjust, sorry, the high and the low. You've got different settings over there. The octave setting is really, really fantastic and useful. And of course, the big revelation for me is the scaler. I just think it is something these libraries really, really need. And I really hope the Action Strings 2 library gets updated with a scaler put in there. But who knows? And there we go. That is Action Woodwinds. So what I've done, I have already created a composition. So let's check out what it sounds like, and then let's talk our way through it. I'm going to tell you about my composing experience with Action Woodwinds. When I'm creating my demos for the Sampleist videos, I'm always thinking about what is the best angle to take to showcase a good contextual demo. This demo is really, really simple. It is only 3 chords, E minor, C and D, and I did that on purpose because I want to see what does Action Woodwinds bring to the table in terms of ease of use and overall sound quality, and of course, how does it enhance the composition? Because Action Woodwinds should take all of the intricacy and the complication out of writing these amazing woodwind parts and essentially make it so we can use them just by holding down a single key. So case in point, we have a middle section here. I'm holding down 1 note, yet I'm getting a wonderful and customizable woodwind performance. And that is the key point about the Action series. It makes our life easy. Now, let's just talk about the instruments really, really quickly. So I do want to show off the Action trilogy. So I've got Action Strikes at the top, and then we have Action Woodwinds, this folder full of all of these different tracks. However, I did notice after I recorded the video for the composition, there is an Action Strings track in there as well, which is really good. I did put it in there on purpose and I just didn't label it or color code it properly. So we can actually hear all 3 of the libraries working together, which is fantastic. And then I've used Sonuscore's Trinity Drums 2, and I've used a trailer setting there. If we go down, some native instrument staples, we've got Noir, the emotional setting, Stradivari cello, we've got the native instruments brass ensemble, choir omina, sopranos and tenor. It's a library that I've started to check out a lot more, very, very excited with what I'm hearing there. We've got Rise and Hit, which I use on probably everything I've ever written, and Ashlight, which is a great hybrid sound design tool. And then these two in red, these are actually non-native instruments. So they are NKS compatible, but we're not going to talk about that. Now, let's talk about the first time we hear Action Woodwinds. It's actually a patch that I made from just a simple sustain. So it loads up and we have the sustain articulation, and I've just put some effects on it, some reverbs and impulse responses, and you get this amazing pad. I absolutely love sound design with libraries and just seeing how you can manipulate them. So this is a really good example. If let's go a bit further on. So I'm playing a fifth at the top and the root a few octaves lower. It just sounds beautiful, and it's a great way to start off the piece of music. I have had to use minus 300 milliseconds of negative delay to keep everything timed, but hey, that is not a problem. Now, just putting these together with the cello and the piano, you just get this, and the cello just plays on melody that we hear a little bit later as well. Yeah, it sounds lovely. There we go. Now, this brings us into our first section, and we have a it's a rendered woodwind run, so I didn't want the little bit at the start. And then we go into our sort of riffs, rhythms, whatever you want to call them, arpeggios. But let's hear it. Okay, now, as I already said, I'm just holding down the same note. So we've got a couple of E notes, we've got an E note there, we've got an E note there. But of course, we're playing different articulations. So if I just solo these off and I mute the strings just for a moment, so that took, I'm going to be generous, about a minute to put in. So I had the instruments loaded, put that in there, just E's, and then I put fragments of E's, and that's it. To actually orchestrate that myself would have taken a lot longer than a minute. And yes, a lot of people will say, oh yeah, but we're all going to sound the same because we're all using the same patterns and the same performances. However, we're not going to, because you can customize them as much as you want. Just for the purpose of the video, I've just kept everything as it comes with the library. But listen to that. You just get the different layers and the different dimensions. Now, if I add the action strings as well, we've got some great kinetic movement. But if I go to the repeat of this section, there's something very interesting happening. So it's something I need to make a point of. If I click on the Sparkling Star arpeggio, you you can see I've set it to E minor. And this doesn't appear in Action Strings at all. So run the final stage, that's the arpeggio. And you can see it's a pedal, it's just the same note being held. But there's no E minor or setting of the key. So if you were playing a melodic passage or an arpeggio that uses a melody, when you change chord, it wouldn't necessarily stay in the key you're working with. And there were ways you could fix that. You could export the MIDI, for example. You can edit the actual passage in the instrument itself. However, it added time. But having this key center is, for me, it's a game changer. It's the biggest development that this series of libraries has had. So I'm using it here as well in the basic breaks. So again, you can see all of the woodwinds are set to E minor. Very, very cool stuff. Now, I'm using, if I was to go back, we also have the Dark City. So this is the Action Strikes library. So we can get Action Strikes, Action Strings 2, and Action Woodwinds together. And to make that slightly more complex sounding piece of music, I've just held down some E notes and whatever the loop triggers are, C, and 2 hits. I felt quite generous of my time there. But you can see how easy it makes composing for us. Even if you're doing lots of programming, but you just want to add some movement or add some color, these are absolutely perfect for that. Now, I've used Sonuscore's Trinity Drums trailer setting. I don't know why I showed you the MIDI because it doesn't tell us anything, apart from, again, that's a loop. So I've just used 2 slices, as it were. And if I play that together, it gives it a bit more of a trailery edge. I didn't mean trailery edge because it's not supposed to be a trailer. More of a hybrid cinematic edge. Lovely. Now, combining this with everything else, and I have been quite generous with the rides and hits as well. But yeah, we just have this really, really full sound. And then, of course, when you write something that's decent, you repeat it with some variation. So we add the choir, and the melody slightly changed because we have a different chord progression going on. E minor, C, and D. And yeah, it just works really well. I'm just going to solo off the choir. Nice. It's probably the most programming I've done. In fact, I just recorded it on the brass ensemble, which sounds wonderful as well. But I have muted it there. So that's the horn legato, and I should make it a little bit more legato than it is. But then you just combine them together. Just sounds really nice in the mix, and we can hear the enigmatic pulse. So that's from Ashlight. And the booms you heard at the start were Ashlight as well. Lovely. And I think somewhere along the line I was supposed to just duplicate these. So you know what? I'm going to. Yep. And you know what? We're finished with the boom as well. Always finish with a boom. There's some advice. I mean, don't, because you know you're not always going to finish with a boom, are you? Anyway, so I'm getting sidetracked. We have that going on, which sounds brilliant. Now, the next section, I'm just going to play it, I've used just modulation, and it brings in this motif, as it were. So again, more complex woodwind writing, and I've just held down a couple of notes. Really, really straightforward, but I do love the dynamic range and bringing the modulation curve up. And then it actually drops out, goes down an octave, so you can hear it just about, but we have this second part taking over. Okay, so again, we're keeping the runs and the different instruments, I guess, or articulations or performances going on, but it's just the way it's arranged. So again, if I solo these off, now you can hear an abrupt stop, and it's because I did not do this. If I just play it now, there's an abrupt stop somewhere. Oh, it's here. It's the render. So again, if I play that, I'm just confusing myself now. So the reason it's got an abrupt stop is because I've just taken that run. So in context, it's not great. Normally I would sort of have a bit longer, have the final note and sort of put a fade out in, but I didn't. So there we go. So it does run seamlessly into each other. That's the thing. It's just my fairly dodgy rendering on this occasion. Now, when we come to the next section, we've got some diatonic playables. So we've got one going up, one going down. I've staggered them by half a bar each, actually a full bar each. I'm just going to play just the Action Woodwinds to start off with. And there we have it. So that woodwind arrangement took a couple of minutes versus hours of writing woodwinds and working out what you're going to do. And of course, it's very, very inspiring as well. It takes you in different directions. If I play just this section on its own, actually, let's just play it with everything going on. Yeah, it sounds superb. And that is the beauty of this library. It makes everything easy for us. It's very, very customizable. It punches through the mix. It's already pre-panned. It's really easy to work with. And yeah, I don't know. Like, for me, it's one of those libraries that now I'm going to be using a lot, because woodwinds are very neglected in my scoring generally. So I've just done a big epic orchestral album, and I think only on one track actually used some woods. So all that's about to change, but for me, the composing experience using Action Woodwinds is absolutely incredible. It is now time for my closing thoughts about Action Woodwinds from Native Instruments and Sonuscore. For me, it's not just about saving time. holding down a key and playing a bunch of phrases and rattling them off. It's about instrument design and of course sample quality. The sampling quality is incredible and they cut through the mix, and when you're working with them you can just hear every layer of the Action Woodwinds ensemble going on, and that is really, really great. So we've got a fantastic bass sound, and of course we've got the different controls within the instrument that we can tweak it. Then we have all of these different performances. If I wanted some runs, I could find some runs. If I wanted some little melodies or rhythms or just action-packed movement, I could find all that just clicking through the browser. Worked really, really well. But it is the level of customization that you can do. You can create your own phrases, you can modify existing ones, you can MIDI drop and change or expand them across the whole orchestra. There is so much you can do with them. So yes, it makes writing complex woodwind parts incredibly easy. And don't forget, we also have some basic articulations. We've got our sustains, got marcato, staccato. So if you're doing something really intricate, you want to use a part of a phrase and write your own little melodic bits or whatever you want to do, you can do that as well. So you've got the best of both worlds. Of course, they're not extended articulations, but your bread and butter articulations certainly are there. So it really does cover everything. And then of course we've got the fact you can specify the key that you're going to play in. That really is the game changer for me. It's the biggest innovation that these libraries have, because you can just freely move around without changing key, and that is really, really important. So do I recommend it? Well, yeah, if you want to write for woodwind and you want to save time, certainly. I love scoring and working with woodwinds and woodwind libraries, but sometimes you just don't have the time. Also, you don't have the inspiration sometimes, and this is incredibly inspiring. When I was making the composition, I did try out different combinations of sounds and performances and different MIDI, and I just settled on what I really thought sounded great, and it does sound great. Not a huge amount of tweaking. If I did everything out of the box, and it was really, really straightforward. So do I recommend Action Woodwinds? Yep, I certainly do. This is one library that I'm going to be using a lot of, just like I use Action Strings 2 a lot, and I do use Action Strikes as well. All that leaves me to say is thank you once again to Native Instruments and Sonuscore for sending over a copy of Action Woodwinds so we could make this video. If you like what you heard, feel free to leave us a like on the video and drop us a comment. What do you like about the instrument? Have you already used it? Have you picked it up already in the intro sale? Just tell us your thoughts and I will do my very best to reply to each and every comment. If you've not done so already, please check out our other videos on YouTube. I'm sure we'll have something on there to tickle your fancy. And then please consider subscribing to the channel. We are just here purely to showcase the wonderful work of the brilliant developers for our music community, and of course we make these videos for our fellow composers because we are all working composers. We don't work on a financial money changing hands. There's no affiliate links, there's no advertising deals. It is just the fact we love the composing community, and that's why we keep making these videos. So if you've not done so already, please subscribe to our channel, and of course keep making that beautiful music, and we will speak again soon. Take care, have a lovely Easter.